Hello, we are live on YouTube. Like I do every night, like I've done just about every night. There's times I take days off depending on my life situation. But for about a year and a half now, I've had this YouTube channel, and one of the most enjoyable times is going live. Um, I enjoy the interaction, and I enjoy picking a topic to talk about. And these topics, they come to me from my own personal life experience. Not a script, not something I think, well, what's going to get the most attention? What's going to get the most clicks? It's based on what I've experienced. And what I've experienced in life is change is something that is feared. And many people will like the idea of change, like the idea of simplifying their life, like the idea of some type of social reform, but they fear what will happen if they actually downsize their house. Will they be able to find another living quarters? What will happen if they actually did implement some type of social program? What would happen if they actually did leave their lover? And the fear is so paralyzing of change. The fear of change is so paralyzing. In our mind, we think the world will stop spinning. But there has been change throughout the history of the world, from the cavemen to the biblical era to the dark ages to the beginning of different countries being established, to empires falling, to different presidents, to different popes, to different kings, to different queens. And guess what? Throughout the course of history, in all the different economic systems, in all the different love relationships, whether it's Julia and Romeo, or whether it was Tisha and Martin, throughout all the different times in life, the world kept spinning. And the world is still spinning. You think in context how much change this world has been through, and it still keeps spinning. But you're paralyzed to change your life. You get paralyzed to change the way you think. You get paralyzed to change the world you live in. And I've been there in life. I've been there in life. I've made life too complicated at times. I remember I was dating a girl, I was trying to impress her, and I'd started to live this simple life, but then I got seduced to impress her again, to show her, look, I really do work a good job. I really do make good money. Let me show you by buying a nice car, by taking you to my house when it's all vacuumed, and got the potpourri on, and everything's sexy, got the candles lit. And she said to me, because before all the romantic evening that I set up, before she saw my new car, she already knew me from a basic level. And then when I tried to overdo it, she said, Sam, I like simple. And I got caught into the fact of changing my world. It wasn't based on fear. I was willing to change, but I was changing my world, the way I operate, the way I think, based on trying to make someone else's world impressed with my world. When you change, you have to change your world. It's the saying that if you want to change the world, start with the person in the mirror. So what will happen if you actually change? What will happen if you actually separate from a lover? What will happen if you actually sell your house? What will happen if you actually change your job? What will happen if you actually do some things you fear? Will the world stop spinning? Hell no. This world will keep spinning until you are not even a skeleton, not even ashes. You don't exist in this world. You're particles. There were great Egyptian pharaohs that tried to make their bodies become a mummy, wrapped in different garments and buried a certain way to try to preserve the body. And they're gone now. They're relics. Some of them are in museums. I've seen some of them, but they're nothing. All the power, all the might, all the economic system that they had designed, it doesn't exist. Guess what? The world kept spinning. So guess what? If you change the social economic view, if you start changing, the world will keep spinning. Guess what? If you left that relationship, the world keeps spinning. The world will keep spinning. Fear is what holds you back. Adaptation is what is needed. Adapt to a new world. Create a new world. Many people are stuck in the old world. They want to go back to the old world. And so that's my core thoughts tonight. And sometimes people ask me if you hear a big idea, or if I give a big idea, or if I give a big suggestion. Sometimes people say to me, well, what will happen? This will happen. This will happen. The world will keep spinning. I remember, being at a job. There's 2 times that happened to me in my career. Then we're going to get to live comments. I remember being at my job, and one of the supervisors said to me, Sam, I know I can count on you because you're the type of person that if we run into an obstacle, the world's not going to stop spinning. And I remember when I was going through some challenges, we were changing the way we did some things. There was one person that kept saying, well, we didn't always do it like this. This is going to happen. This is going to happen. This is good. Well, what's going to happen if we don't meet this date? That's what he kept saying. What's going to happen? What's going to happen? And in my mind, I wanted to say, the world ain't going to stop spinning. The world going to keep spinning. It wasn't the fact that if you didn't meet this date, if you didn't do it a certain way, the world would stop spinning. It was the fact that this was a goal. This was a target. Look, we may have to adapt. It may be different than drawn up. But I wanted to say that to him. But I also have learned through maturity, because I've also at times spoken up when I shouldn't have. I said, Sam, if you say that, it's going to sound sarcastic, and it's not the time for that. But in my mind, I made a mental note. This person was they were causing they were an alarmist. They said, if this doesn't happen, what's going to happen? And I said to myself, this guy don't realize the world ain't going to stop spinning. And I'm a person that works with urgency. I work diligent. So it wasn't about I was saying, oh, but I was saying that all his fear, all his anxiousness wasn't helping the situation. It was making it worse. Because guess what? Adaptation is what needs to change. We can have it long. You thought because we broke up, I was going to fall apart, but instead I adapted. The world kept spinning, and what I did was I adapted. Hold that message tight. Anytime you have big ideas, anytime you need to make a big change, and anytime you go through life, people will question you, what if? And what you can be assured is no matter what happens, the world will keep spinning. So change, and change often. And let the fear rest on those who are not brave enough to push forward. Peace and love. All right, now live comments. Liz, hey Liz, good evening. Hung Up 1984. Hey Sam, hey Hung Up. How's the video coming in? Can you see me loud and clear? T-Ma, hey Sam, what's up? Rob, what's up Sam? Apathy. Evening Sam. Change is feared indeed. Most people's minds go to worst case scenario when they start to think about changing the world for the better. It's true. It's true. That's why I don't even understand. Some people say, what would happen if America had universal health care? What happened to Canada? What happened to Europe? The world's still spinning over there. Nothing happened. But you would think, I remember when they went through Brexit, which was the split of the European Union. They said the world's going to end. World ain't in. World kept spinning. World keeps spinning. Don't matter what change, whether you agree with the change or not. World don't keep spinning. But fear is used to persuade your decision. You should be cautious. You should think about the consequences. You should evaluate them. You should research them. But then you should realize all people make decisions and the world keeps spinning. That's the truth. Rob, Sometimes we need to get comfortable with the uncomfortable. Change and new challenges is what causes us to grow and to become a better version of ourselves. I agree with that. That girl I was telling you about that changed my world to impress her world, when it ended, and it ended in a disaster, I was crushed. But I knew I had to separate myself and I had to adapt. And I did grow into a better person. And I do thank God for that experience, because it was a blessing. And I still honor the memory of her and the different things she added. And I'm not a bitter man. It was just a life lesson. You know, that, which I always know, but it gets reinforced, that you can't fear, it's the fear of the permanent, right? That if you do something, it's never going to be the same again. The whole world's going to change. And it's true. But every day the world changes. If you decide to leave a relationship, it is actual fact that your world will change. But the world will keep going on. But sometimes in fear of your world changing, even though kind of your world should change, you're unwilling to let go of the old world. There's even a slogan out there used as propaganda, the New World Order. It's propaganda. Is the old world order better? And which old world? When the Roman Empire ruled, the Dark Ages, or the beginning of America, which was a lot of bad stuff. What old world was better than the New World? You tell me. And then you look at the factual history of the different bad, negative things of the old world. So what's wrong with the new world every day? Because every day the world keeps spinning. But this is a mindset. This is an embedded fear and an embedded mindset of lack of adaptation, lack of flexibility, a rigid mindset. Not an evil necessarily, because I believe most people are good and decent, but it is something to be cautious. I mean, I'm very cautious of where is someone's mindset. And when you mention a change, when you mention a big idea, are they kind of like, all right, well, how are we going to figure, is there a way we can figure out and let's make it work as we go? Let's adapt as we go. Or is it like roadblock? No. World's going to stop spinning. And then you know right away, this is this type of person I'm dealing with. And, that's my life observation. That's just what life is. Hung up 1984. Yes, the video is very loud and clear. Well, thank you. I hope I'm not screaming too loud. Thank you, Luke. Brother, please send me your positive energy, because today was the second day with the manager, and she's making it really difficult to work under her as my supervisor. Boss, she is very domineering and emasculating. Okay, so like belittling you, kind of like. I'll keep you my thoughts and prayers. I've worked for good people, I've worked for bad people, so I've personally experienced that. And I understand where you're coming from. Luke, appreciate all your care and thoughts and input. Thank you, brother. I'm praying for you. Luke, I definitely hate the struggle making money just for survival and hoping to save money to secure some of a future. Yeah, I mean, it's very interesting, right? I mean, think about, the average person's expenses are like $2,000 a month, maybe $3,000 for a single person, maybe something like that. So, you got to make at least $3,000 a month take home, something like that. How much are you really saving? And if a lot of people are not necessarily making $3,000 a month take home, so maybe they're only making $2,000 a month take home. Think about like if you save $500 a month, and that's great for a lot of people. For many years, I didn't save $500 a month. I was in debt most of my young career. Not until my early 30s did I get out of debt. And what I can tell you is, 500 times 10 is 5,000. So $6,000 a year you would save if you save $500 a month. If you save $500 a month, you would save $6,000 a year. If you get laid off tomorrow and you have no income, that $6,000 will go very quick. And if you have I went to a beach park today after work, and there was a young girl who was there in her car. Her car broke down. She had her hood open, and she was on the cell phone with a friend. And she goes, as soon as my paycheck comes, something happens that I have to spend it. And that's with income coming in, with her payday just happening. And when payday isn't coming in, if God forbid you're laid off, you just spent a year saving $6,000 a month. And that's if you had no debt. That's if you could save. It took me to my early 30s to get to that point. You think about it. It takes a long time to save, and then it's not easy to get to a point where you have so much in there where you don't have to worry about blowing through savings. And so it is a concern. It does weigh on the mind. I Googled the other day, what's the top 5 things that keep people up at night? Stress is what keep people up at night. So the top, I think, 3 things that were the most stressful. The number 1 thing that keeps people up at night is relationship problems. The number 2 is money. So let's just stop there. 2 things that will keep you up at night is a relationship problem and a money problem. And that's why most people struggle with good sleep. Not that I know people with $1,000 mattresses, they don't sleep well. Why? They got relationship problems or they got money problems. And that's real. That's the reality for most people. And that pain is not really felt until you've been through that. And, you got to remember that. Good job. Ryan B. When I'm feeling uneasy, I like to listen to Abraham Hicks of my favorite EDM. That helps most of the time. Thumbs up. Hello, Sammy. What's up, Ryan B? Good to see you, man. Music does heal the soul. What I've learned as I've got older is when I'm in so much mental pain, sometimes I can't listen to music, or if I do listen to music, it has to be light instrumental music, usually light jazz. Because I'm when I'm really going through mental pain, I can't throw on Future, or I can't throw on Nas or Drake or something like I gotta throw on light jazz because I can't deal with any too much. I gotta just soothe the mind, and sometimes I don't want to hear anything. And I definitely got to a point where I didn't want to watch TV, news TV or anything like that when I had a house, or even movies or anything related to anything. Whether it was financial news, whether it was politic news, whether it was ever, I didn't want to hear any of that. And the same thing with loud, it's like when you are going through a lot of pain, there's different times. There's pain that's crushing and that's very humbling. And then there's pain that really gets you fired up. I mean, there's different types of pain, but the pain that I'm expressing is that it sucks the energy out of you. And it just, it gives you a hopeless feeling. Have I ever felt hopeless? Oh, yeah. I believe in faith. I believe in God. I believe in Jesus. I try to be a positive person. I lose hope sometimes, definitely. Even people in the Bible lost hope. Okay, so again, the world didn't stop spinning. They lost hope. And they're just regular people like us. Okay, and that's what you find out. And, again, you just put one foot in front of the other. That's the only thing I've come up with. I remember when I did live in the condo that I owned for 15 years, I remember walking around the community, and I've shared this story before. There was an older guy that I really liked. He was a professor in college. I don't remember what he taught, but I remember we were walking our dogs. At that time, I had a dog. He had a dog. And I remember asking him, I said, what's the worst thing you've ever been through in life? And how did you handle it? And he said, Sam, the worst thing I've ever been through in life, when me and my wife had our son, we had high expectation for our son because we're both teachers. I'm a professor. My wife's a teacher. Or I think his wife was actually, I'm sorry, his wife wasn't a teacher. His wife was a psychiatrist, I think. And he goes, when our son was born with a disability, I believe a mental disability. And after about a year, we kind of knew our son would never fully develop and that he would not be able to be a scholar. And of course, coming from an educational background, and that's my passion, and my wife coming from a very psychological analytical standpoint, we had a lot of expectation that our son was going to be able to develop into a philosopher, education person, etc. And when that hope was taken from us, when we accepted the fact that our son had a permanent disability, it was crushing. And I said, and I let him just talk because I could feel his pain. And then I said, well, how'd you handle it? And he kind of like smirked. He said, and I could tell what that meant was for a while he didn't handle it good. Well, he said after a while, he goes, Sam, what you realize is you just put one foot in front of the other. And you take it one day at a time. And it does get better. And then it may get worse again. It may get better. There is constant waves. But like I say, through it all, the world will keep spinning. I mean, and this is part of life. And so you remember that you just put one foot in front of the other. It doesn't make it better. Saying that does not make the mental pain that you feel or that anyone feels, that Luke feels, that Ryan feels, that whoever. I understand that because I go through that myself. And there's nothing anyone can say that will take the pain away. And so sometimes the best thing to say is not much. But this is a seed that in your darkest moment, all you can remember and all you can remind yourself is you put one foot in front of the other. And you take life one day at a time. That's it. Very simple. But that's the reality of life. Luke, just read a statistic that 60% of Americans are lucky to have $1,000 in the bank for an emergency. Well, again, it took me to my late 20s to get to $1,000 in the bank. So like sometimes I tell people, or I know like other people tell, like have 6 months savings, have a year, 10,000, 20,000 in savings. I remember being at a certain point in my career, like, you gotta be kidding me. There's no way I'm ever going to be save that much money. And then finally I did get to a point where I saved 1,000 and then finally, it progressed. But that's a huge hurdle for most people. And I do believe that statistics will show you that most people struggle with that. That's your biggest financial step, is to get enough in savings, not in investments, in savings. Doesn't matter if you get 0% interest, enough in savings for at least for 1 year worth of income. And that's very hard to do. It takes years, took me decades. But that's a huge part of a financial cushion, because at any moment you can get laid off and you go right into savings, and it goes fast. So it is something to be mindful of. Tima, the grass may not be greener on the other side, but there's nothing wrong with having the courage to see it. Nothing is perfect. Don't let perfection stop you from changing. If you fear, perfection is the most paralyzing emotion you will ever have. Being a perfectionist, it can have some good qualities, but the worst part of it is it will paralyze you. Because guess what? Doers make mistakes. And if you're unwilling to make mistakes, a person who is willing to make mistakes will call the shots, and you will be subject to the mistakes they make. That's what I've learned in life. If you don't want to own mistakes, someone else is going to make the decisions for you, and you're going to own their mistakes. That's the reality of life. So get comfortable with making mistakes, and don't worry about if it's going to be better or worse. I don't want to say that. Let me correct that. Obviously, I want to preach responsibility as far as thinking. You have to evaluate pros, cons, pitfalls. You have to use a level of wisdom. Okay? But you have to understand that there is no exact science to life. Even science isn't science. Science is not an exact form. It's an art form almost. Science is the studying of data, experiments, and observation. Scientists and astrologers, once said Pluto was a planet, not a planet. Doctors once said smoking won't hurt you, then it'll kill you. Earth is flat, now it's round. Science and technology, there's math equations to it. There's studying, there's statistics. It's also an art form. It's also a moving target. It's an evolution. And through it all, through greatest minds on the planet saying the earth is flat, then it's round. This is a planet. This is not a planet. This won't kill you. This will kill you. Through all the different changes, through all the different political systems, science systems, math equations, philosophies, all that, the world keeps spinning. So don't fear change, because another 1,000,000,000 years from now, somebody will be in a virtual reality YouTube thing making love to a robot. Damn, I wish I was around a million years from now. Gonna have a sexy ass robot as a wife that all he gotta do is shut her down when he's ready, and he's gonna be having a basic income. Damn it, why wasn't I born a million years ahead? But let me be thankful, because if I was born a million years before, total disaster. Good job. Florida, FL. Hi, Sam. Hello to you. Love and respect to the Space Coast. That's an astronaut. Okay. What happened to the space program? Who is it, JFK? This is we're going to reach the moon? How many space shuttles blew up? Did the world stop spinning? They kept going to the moon. And even when we got to the moon, did the world stop spinning? Nope. Some people said during the quest to reach the moon, some people said that if you go into space, you are going to cause harm because the gods or the universe doesn't want us going up there. And that's why these rocket ships are blowing up. And the world may stop spinning because we're going to mess with the atmosphere. We're going to do something, People have been pumping fear since as far back as history. And again, I'm not saying you shouldn't evaluate major concerns. If you have, some science, some data, something, then you got to evaluate that. But you also have to evaluate the fact that life goes on. It's a balanced, thought out approach. And then you have to realize you got to bite the bullet. To change the world, you got to change. And some people fear that because it's unknown. It's unknown. I can't exactly guarantee. But I can guarantee you there will be change, even if you don't want it, because history proves it. Look at history. It'll prove one thing, that change is an absolute certainty. No matter who's in charge, empires fall, empires go, cultures take over, cultures disappear. One thing is for absolutely certain, if you have any concept of studying history, that change is inevitable. And if you're not willing to adapt, you can stay in that mindset, but you will suffer your life. You will be a bitter, rich person, and you're going to suffer for it. Because adaptation is one of the most valuable assets that you have in this world. That's what separates you from a dinosaur, okay? And look what happened to the dinosaurs. I've seen some in the museum. They ain't out here, in Starbucks. Okay. Humans can adapt. We'll figure it out. And if we don't, the world will still keep spinning, with or without us. Never forget that. Then the robots take over. And that's when I get married. Good job. What was that? And Flora says, hey, Sam, are you falling back into the swing of things here? Yes. Well, the sun and the hot weather, this is the environment that I come alive. I've dated some girls, they say they come alive in the fall, and then they wear all like the fall stuff, and they love that. I don't like that, but some girls love that. What I can tell you is I come alive in the hot, tropical, beautiful Florida. Okay. I love Florida. I respect Florida. I love Florida. I'm alive. Obviously, you can still go through pros and cons. I mean, it's still life, but I feel more alive in this environment. I'm basically, try to take an alligator, even though I don't really like alligators. I'd rather be a koala bear. But let's say I'm an alligator, but picture me as a koala bear. Let's say I'm an alligator and you take me and you put me back in Central Park. Now, I'll walk around Central Park because I walked around Central Park for many years. There's some nice stuff there, but I can't really be an alligator in Central Park. Now, I don't want to be in a swamp, but I want to be like by the beach. So again, picture me as a koala bear on the beach, but really an alligator. You understand what I'm saying? I'm making a lot of sense tonight. Good job. Talib, look up straw man and common law. Okay, I will. I'm not educated on that, so I'd have to get informed. Talib, look up the value of coin value in silver. Talib, your change is worth more than dollar. Not really. We don't go by the gold standard. Silver and gold are not worth anything. Paper money is not worth anything. Okay. So the amount of paper money we have printed, we don't have gold backed up. So if you're saying if the world collapses, gold is more important than paper money, but gold, if we really have Armageddon, you can't eat with gold. If the world really collapses, the most valuable thing is food and water. Okay. And there will be a fight for that. Currency is, again, it's worshiping the mighty dollar. Whether it's paper money or whether it's gold, you'll spend your whole life being seduced by it. Look, you need money. You need some type of currency to function in this world. I'm not going to pander to you. But, some people love gold. Some people love silver. Some people love Bitcoin. Some people love paper money. It's all a game, and it'll change. Back in the Roman Empire, it was different. Back in now, it was different. It's always been different. There's going to be some type of currency, and it's going to be a game to get it. But if Armageddon, and I'm talking about Armageddon, I'm talking about it would be more about the most valuable things that the human race needs to survive is clean water, a good food supply, and a level of civil rest, not civil unrest. That's really the most important aspects of creating an environment where the human species does not totally like if you ever got to a point where there was real unrest and real lack of a clean water supply and a lack of a food supply, gold and silver, it would be useless. It would be like the movie Eli's Book with Denzel Washington. Gold means nothing. In many aspects, it's bartering for things that are useful. Gold only means something, and silver and currency, when you have a functioning government and when you have a functioning society that you can exchange that gold, that silver, that currency for some type of actual good or service. So if you can exchange that piece of gold for a Starbucks, if Armageddon came, there's no governments, there's no system backing up that currency's worth. So it's back to brute on brute force. Who can kill someone else for the goods and services? And which communities are going to create a civil rest, a unity, where they protect each other from violent overtakers of the food supply and the water supply? And that's really how Armageddon will play out if it ever did, based on my thought process. Luke, it's so hard to stay mentally strong in a world where people that bring you down. Well, I agree with that. Look, I have my breakdowns, and when I say breakdowns, there's always an asterisk there because everyone can define breakdown different. But I have points in my journey where I feel broken. But obviously I believe in my faith, and really all that means is I just ask for God's grace, which is something I really can't understand. And I still say to myself, sometimes I don't want to be here, and I still lose hope. So I'm not going to try to sit here like I float on a cloud when I pull on my faith, but it does help me somewhat. And I just try to keep on my routine. I still walk, I still eat healthy. Because I realize, look, which I've done, I've let my body go. I've ate unhealthy. I smoke cigarettes. I've done all those different things. And whether I take care of myself or whether I don't, the world keeps spinning. And what I found is whether I'm up or down, the world keeps spinning. So what I found is the best thing I can do is just keep taking care of myself. And even if I feel down the dumps, I'm better off taking care of myself than letting myself go. I've let myself go. And even when you let yourself go, even when you give up, the world will keep kicking you. If you decide to give up, the world will keep kicking you. Like, that's what I really come to the final conclusion. Like, you can give up in despair and you can totally say, I'm done. You know what the world's going to do? They'll kick you. Because the world keeps going on with or without you. So you might as well just say, look, I got to do whatever I got to do to keep moving. Even if I'm broken, even if I've given up hope, I just can put one foot in front of the other. And that's what I've come up with for my own life. That's what I apply. Love to you. Talib. Your pennies are worth 70 cents. Well, I understand the whole thing. I've got, again, we can go down. It's a dark hole of worldview philosophy. So you got to do you. If you want to do that, I'm not, you got to do you. That's all. Luke, family plan, financial pain can definitely contribute to feeling hopelessness. I totally agree. I definitely believe that financial problems play a huge part in mental problems. I definitely believe that is a huge part of why America is going through a huge mental health crisis. Because many, I would say the majority of Americans have financial problems. And they have a level of fear that is paralyzing to them and that is crushing their spirit. And they feel like they're losing their dignity and that they are totally subject to the ever-growing rich elite who are, no matter how much they pander verbal, social issues, they don't execute policy that ensures a level of financial dignity to the masses. So they will pander to social issues that get people emotional, but they will not implement financial reform that will ensure a level of dignity and wellness to an overall healthy society. Because what if we gave basic income? What if we gave universal health care? The world would stop spinning. But in Canada, they have universal health care, and a lot of Canada's down here in Florida. The world ain't stopped spinning up there. World didn't stop spinning in Europe when they did it. And the world won't stop spinning here. If we did basic income, world wouldn't stop spinning. But they'll make you believe it would. Everything that has ever been fought for has been challenged with vigor. Nothing has been graciously given that benefits society. Nothing. Everything has been fought for, foot, tooth, nail, pull on, drag, protest, everything. That's the reality of factual history. The ruling powerful have never passively given more to the hurting masses. It has always come through struggle, protest, mocking, name-calling, and fear-mongering. Always overcoming those things. That's how change has been implemented. Never through passive, let's just hope the people in charge take care of us. Never. Take a look. To leave. Just look at the dates. I hear you, Luke. I can relate to this message. Love and respect. Thank you. Apathy. Sam, would love to get your input on this. Okay. What's the point of saving for retirement when we usually all end up ill? The government takes our savings, leaves us with under $2,000 for elder care. What the F? It's a valid concern, and I have seen people get to a certain age where they have to get checked into a home, and their caretaker, their family member, has to liquidate their assets or else they get no help, and it's a disaster. But financial security will help you have more options. So you're never going to have enough in this world, but for most people. But you want to have some savings. Savings is your leverage. It's your option pool. The less savings, the less options. When you have less options, you have more stress. So I can explain it through the fact that you're going to be in a better place mentally first. If you want to be older and have good mental health, you're going to want some savings. If you're older, you're more vulnerable in society. You're less employable. So the less you have in savings, you're going to feel mentally stressed out. The biggest thing you accomplish when you have level of savings is you have a level of mental peace. And that's why I do believe mental problems, a big part of play financial problems. Because when you don't have financial security, you have mental insecurity, and you get very fearful because you realize you're vulnerable in society. You're like the wounded deer out in the wild. The lion's coming to eat you. The lion of capitalism, the definition of capitalism is private companies or public that operate solely for profit. So if you're wounded, if in today's society, in a capitalist society, you will go further if you act like Trump versus Jesus. If you act like Jesus in a capitalist society, you're a socialist. That's the truth. If you act like Trump, you're a wealthy, successful businessman. If you put Jesus in today's capitalist society, he would be labeled a socialist. If you don't believe me, ask yourself that. Many people rich people included, will take their children to Sunday school and teach them to be like Jesus on Sunday. On Monday, they will teach them to be a capitalist. That universal health care, universal income, it's lack of dignity, it's socialism. So they want their children to believe in Jesus, but on Monday, they want them to believe in Donald Trump or whoever. It doesn't matter. It could be Barack Obama. It doesn't matter. Look, don't get lost in that. But I will say, look, Barack Obama tried to institute some type of basic dignity with healthcare, and he was crucified, okay? And that's what Jesus would be. If Jesus tried to institute basic healthcare, crucified, okay? Trump gives you an extra $100 a month, celebrated as wise businessman. You just got an extra $100 a month. He's a wise businessman. But in a capitalist society, Trump is celebrated and Jesus is crucified. Never forget that. And what I could tell you is, you're going to need to be mindful that there's many trappings in this world. Now, some trappings come in the form of looking at your savings too much. I've been there. Even me, with good faith, even me, I'm not a greedy person. Even me, I'm not a power-hungry person. I've never been. But I have gotten to points in my journey where I felt my energy, my focus was too much driven on hoarding money and making more. Now, you need to do it. So I'm trying to find a balance here. But you have to be mindful that there is a balance. And live simply. Continue to work, do what you need to do to produce an income, and just live simply. And stand up when you see an opportunity to improve society. Don't be bullied into backing down. Don't be bullied into thinking the world will stop spinning if you actually changed the system. It won't stop spinning. It didn't stop spinning when corporations took pensions and annuities away from most workers. The world didn't stop spinning. You just got a 401k and now you got a 401k loan, but the world didn't stop spinning. You just got less financial security in your future. So change will happen one way or another. Don't fear it. Okay, good job, Luke. But I got to keep pushing on and believing because that's all we can do. I agree, brother. Luke, and take one day at a time. You got it. Apathy. Amen to that. Thank you. Nicholas, what's up, man? Good to see you, Sammy. You're all right, bro. Thank you, brother. Good to see you, man. Hope you're okay. Look, everyone who's watching, if these videos help you, please take the effort to give the thumbs up on the video. Share the video. It helps. If you want to, if they help you. I appreciate that extra effort, and it matters. So thank you. It means a lot. Talib, 10 reasons why I buy gold. Oh, Talib, I love you, man, but please don't make me block you. I don't want to get into a debate about different types of currency. Again, I kind of like broke it down. I want you to do you. I don't want to talk down to you. And I don't want to... I can see you're passionate about currencies. I'm trying to be more mature as I run this channel. I don't want to just block you. I could see that you have a passion and interest about currency. And so I don't want to try to say, well, you have to be like me. Because I want to have like different perspectives in the chat room. But that's not my primary focus in life. I addressed it on how I feel about currencies and their value and what values they do have. And I'm not saying your voice is not important in the conversation of economics and law and history. But what I'm trying to say is once you evaluate it, I kind of broke it down. Like they all have different values in society based on if society's functioning at a certain level. If there's total collapse, none of them have value other than, again, clean water, food, and your ability to physically secure those things. Outside of that, it's just a bet, right? We're just at the crap table. You're saying you want to bet a hard 8. I'm saying I want to play the pass line. My man's saying he wants to play the field. It's just what do you want to bet on? You understand what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, the house wins. You understand what I'm saying? At the end of the day, the house wins. You think you're suave, you think you're a good investor. If there's a flash crash and something goes down 25% and you get squeezed out of your margin position, you'll be the first one begging for universal basic income. That's how the game works, which I've seen the game, how it works. I understand how the game works. And what I can tell you is don't spend too much of your energy going down that dark hole, brother, because I've seen it happen, and but you have to live your own life. You understand what I'm saying? And so just be careful. Apathy. Do you feel as though, excuse me, do you feel as though we are a nation becoming less and less empathetic towards one another? No, I don't. If I step back from emotion, I still have overall hope in society because I look at where society was 20 years ago. I think we're in a better place now. And I have hope that we'll be in a better place 20 years ago. Does that 20 years from now, does that guarantee we will be in a better place? No, no guarantees. But I am still hopeful because I still recognize that 90% of the people I deal with are good and decent. There's 10% of people that aren't, but that's always going to be. And there's always cycles of leadership that just cycle in and out. But I'm still encouraged about America. I'm still encouraged about the world. I mean, look, we're a global society now. There's no way around it. People in this chat room from all over the world. That wasn't the case 20 years ago. And we're going to interconnect more globally. It's just the way it is. People can resist that, but that's the way life's going. And I think that will break down barriers of prejudice, of preconceived ideas. And I think things will get better. I hope. And we'll see what happens. Connor's from England. Hey, bro, what's going on? Sarah, joining in, and then she gave me the smile, peace, and love, Sam. Sarah is a beautiful woman, a great friend, and someone who has stuck with me because I know, like, you know, sure, there's times like I say things she don't like or something like that. But Sarah's always encouraged me. And I know that I know inside her is a great being. Now, I know she's not perfect. I know sometimes she probably beats herself up, but none of us are perfect. I'm not perfect. But I'm thankful for Sarah. And I pray for Sarah. I pray for her mental well-being. I pray for her physical well-being. She's a beautiful woman, but a lot of times in life, when I met beautiful people, they're the most insecure. You know, like I've dated some ugly, well, I don't say I dated ugly, but I know ugly girls. And no, I'm not that I'm the best, but they're totally confident. And I dated some beautiful women and they're totally insecure. And I said, damn, what the hell's going on? But there's a lot of mental pressure to be a beautiful woman because you realize you understand life. As you get older, your beauty fades, your physical beauty fades. And so you're less marketable. I've often talked about as you get older, you're less employable. As you get older as a woman and your beauty fades, you feel like you're losing your value. You feel like you're using your gift. Beauty is a gift. But I certainly feel in life, as I mature, that the good relationships are beyond a level of physical beauty because all of us, myself included, all of our beauty fades. Again, I think it's harder for a woman. My opinion. And then beyond that, in my experience in growing up in a household with 3 women, my parents got divorced when I was 8, then it was me, my mom, and 2 sisters. My experience is women add a great empathetic, caring softness to life. Now, obviously, they're imperfect, just like men are imperfect. But they also worry and think a lot. No one will worry like your mother. No one will worry like your mother. And no one will, and I think women have that burden. Not all, so you got to be careful to generalize, but there is a level. I was talking to somebody the other day in Starbucks. He was trying to like give me the gospel. I was trying to break it down for him because he needed a little help. But what I'm trying to tell you is he was giving me like this big rigid speech about order and how God structures things. And I was saying, look, I was like breaking it down for him too. What I was telling him was, look, man, you know the number one thing like I carry with me on my journey is the love and empathy I've learned from my mother. I said, if you can remember that, that's a guiding light in your life. You keep it simple, bro. I said, don't go mind fucking it. And he laughed. He said, you know what? That's the one thing I remember is how much, you know, my mom loved me. And So I'm saying all that to say I'm kind of just like rambling and sharing my thoughts, but I'm thinking about Sarah and I'm thinking about things coming on my mind. I'm thinking about how thankful I am to have her in my life for this season. Look, we may not know each other in a few years. I don't know. I hope we do. Maybe we won't. But I think about Sarah's mental well-being and I pray for her. I know she prays for mine and I feel her prayers. And I thank her for reaching out through Instagram and all those different things. I thank her. I love her. I appreciate every time she likes a photo. It means something to me. I believe that she straightened her life out by simplifying her life. I do believe she made the right decision. I believe anytime you make your life simpler, I believe you take a step in the right direction. I remember my father told me when I was talking about living out of a car, he said, you're taking a step backwards, but I took a step forward. I really do believe I took a step forward. I do not regret 1 minute downsizing. Now, I know I did it extreme. I'm not saying everyone should do what I do, but this is what I'm trying to share with you. And I'm trying to also verbally express my appreciation for Sarah, my appreciation for all the viewers, and my thoughts on how I think of things in a spiritual realm. And when I think about people and when I think about life, I'm thinking about people's minds and what the burdens they have are and what's their fears, what's their hopes, what's their despair. And like Sade say, like sometimes I'm singing a Sade song, I'm the King of Sorrow. I want you to YouTube, Google Sade and King of Sorrow. Sometimes that's how I feel. But I love that part about me because it makes me empathetic and it gives me a level of perspective. And this is how I view life. Jacob. Hey there, guy. How are you doing? I'm doing good, Jacob. How are you? HVAC Genius. Shout out to Polk County. Hey, brother. I was number 7 to click the thumbs up button. I appreciate you always telling me that. Thank you, HVAC Genius, for doing that. I appreciate that. HVAC Genius. Sam, have you been in the ocean since you're back? Good question from Jersey. I have walked by the ocean every night. I just got back from it. I have not been in the ocean. It's been a little bit cool where I'm at. And I haven't got all the way where I'm going to be south. And so I hope red tide has dissipated by then. I'm not sure if it's still around or not. I haven't been in certain areas. But I haven't been in, but I've walked by it. And when I do go by the ocean, I get healed. But I was thinking about that tonight when I was walking by the ocean. I said, when the hell am I going to get back in there? I'm going to get back in there soon. Talib, true. Talib, they will be back again, silver and gold. I hear you. You got to do you, man. Tima. Yes, it's hard to build your savings, and it's even harder to keep it. That's true. Life still happens. Tima, you know what it is. Talib, organic food and clean water and clothing and protection from the weather. I agree with that. That's the essentials for human survival. Good job. Luke, during your work week, Monday through Friday, to you to go Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts for 6 to 8 hours, yes. And do you ever get bored, stir crazy being that long? No, because I take breaks. Just like that's the one good thing about losing weight and getting my health together is I learned how to structure my day. So either way, whether I worked or not work, I'm getting up early. And either way, majority of my life I've been in the office. I've been, so I know, and I'm measured. When you're a remote worker, you're measured by your output. So there's more eyes on you. There's more pressure than when you're in office. So that can be overwhelming in the beginning. But I always said to myself, Sam, structure your day the same way you did when you were in the office for a decade. All you have to do, you start at 7. You work every hour. I get up and I just walk for like 10 minutes. And then at like 9:30, I'll take 15-minute break, come back every hour. I just get up for 10 minutes just to stretch, get my mind. And then at lunch, I take my break. And so as long as I take the periodic breaks, and studies show that if you take periodic breaks, just like you would if you were in the office, that you are more productive. Studies show that if you try to study all night and cram for a test, you're less productive. You're less smart. You're less memory. So I've learned time management, and I've learned now there's times where it's stressful because again, I'm in a different dynamic where we're starting a new department, we're starting new things. But I learned as long as I remember myself, Sam, I say to myself often, what would I be, it's just like, if you were in office, would you be doing the same thing? And many times for me, it's the same routine. Like I have a priority list of things, how I structure my day too. And I've done it for decades now is every morning I have on like my notes in my digital laptop is I have a priority list. Like, what's the top 3 things I need to accomplish listed in priority? So I have a structure. I have a focus. That's the first thing you have to do. You have to break down the overwhelming task of what your responsibility is, and you got to have a priority list. So I have a priority list. Now, they always may change. If I get an email, an emergency comes up, I got to do something else. But I have that. I have an Outlook calendar where it plans out my day. Like, I have a meeting at this time. I got to submit this by this time. So again, now I'm organizing my mind. I'm structuring my day. I have thoughts. I have priorities. And then I just take it one task at a time. And that's all I do. And then I make sure to take care of myself. Like, all right, Sam, you've been sitting down now for like an hour and a half straight. You have to get up. You have to walk. You have to go get some water. You understand? And so that's how I keep myself in a good space. So, and then I just repeat. And, that's how you structure your day. Jacob, when the world goes to crap, I plan on laying low for a year, then try to rebuild the nation. Well, I'm not mad at you. Good luck. Love to you, Jacob. Luke, I like the open format where we can share and be real. I think this is definitely the first step to be a brother and sisterhood in each other in this thing called life. It's not easy, but you're right, Luke. I appreciate your YouTube video channel. Thank you. I appreciate you, Luke. Again, it wouldn't be really as special if people didn't interact with me, if there wasn't comments, if we didn't read them, if we didn't have a dialogue. If I just sit up here and barked, I watch YouTube videos of people do that. It doesn't inspire me. So, look, I do recognize that not through my own, doing. I mean, I've developed my gifts, but God has given me the gifts. I do believe that your gifts are meant to be used. And so, magic happens when you use your gifts and you develop them. So I enjoy doing this. I wish I could do it full time in one sense. In the other sense, working and being a worker all my life, it gives me a level of perspective and empathy that if my whole life, if I was a YouTube star, would I really ever understand the struggle? I wouldn't. You understand what I'm saying? Like, because I've lived a life that probably most people either are living or will live so for me, like, sometimes I say, well, man, I wish I'd just do this, that. But I also say to myself, well, I am thankful that for the most part, I've lived a certain life where I can relate on many levels because I have actual experience in doing many things that people either don't do or doing. Like, a lot of people doing the same thing. So that's how I feel. Janice, glad I just came in here to hear what I needed to hear right when I came in. Well, Janice, I love having you. Again, I think you're a very intelligent woman. I think you add great to the conversation, and we love you. Amtoff, I keep getting turned down by fat women, okay? I meet online. Disaster. Any advice? Try skinny women. It doesn't matter, though, fat, skinny. I think all relationships are a disaster. I mean, you're talking to a guy who's single by choice, so I don't know. I know you're saying that a little bit joking, but I'm trying to think about, again, I prefer being single. I know both are a struggle. I have known some people, like I said, I had a friend that all he liked was heavy girls. I dated a girl. Everyone likes something different, but that's hope. I know plenty of guys out there that like big girls. Now, I know guys that like skinny girls. At the end, beauty fades. I'm not the person to give great relationship advice as far as romantically, but what I have discovered in life is the biggest thing you have to look for is core common interest, then a level of chemistry, both. Like, I remember when all I looked for was chemistry. We had great chemistry as far as passion and being romantic, but we had no core common interest. Then I remember I got to a season of my life was I looked for like a best friend. I looked for like someone with just core common interest. And I remember going to an eye doctor and I was flirting with the girl, and it was a girl eye doctor. And I was telling her, like, yeah, I think like my next girlfriend is just gonna be like my best friend. Or we're just gonna have core common interest. And she said, Sam, she goes, that's good. You need that, but you also need a level of passion. You also need a level of chemistry. And that's why when you do find the right person, if you're fortunate, if you want it, I don't even want it. If you find a level of core common interest and chemistry and it explodes at the right time, you're in ecstasy until you're in hell. Because believe me, it happens very fast. It changes. So 1 minute you're making passionate love, and the next minute you're burning the Hello Kitty underwear and throwing everything she owns in the trash bag outside of your condo, and you're telling a friend, come get the shit right now. That's what happens. Good job. Connor, bye, CA. Okay. Luke, we got to always cheer each other on, so I will start now. Sam, I celebrate your life, an awesome guy God created, and cheers to your life on believing in you, my man. Well, Luke, same back to you. I appreciate you being an encourager. I'm rooting, praying, and encouraging and hoping good mental health for you, good physical health, and a good career. And again, it's like, it's evenly balanced. Like, I appreciate that. Thank you. Apathy. Sam, have you seen the movie Caps Her? I have not. It's about a dude who helps others cope with heartache while he falls in love with artificial intelligence girlfriend. That sounds like my style. Who only exists in a computer. No, but I may have to check that out. I like how that's going. Luke, I definitely agree. Financial security and savings definitely make you feel more secure. It's true. But it's so funny how you can be on top 1 minute and down the next. Well, I've been there. I understand that. All you can do is take it one day at a time, but you're smart, Luke. Apathy, I did a good job. Apathy. Gold Eek. Everyone's different. Apathy. I second that, Sam. You rock. Love and respect you. Thank you. Your message is always appreciated. Well, I appreciate that. Believe me, if I didn't get the support and encouragement back, even if I would still be confident, I'm human. So I appreciate, I'm thankful for the support. Rick, are the good fun casinos in your part of Florida? I don't know. I don't go. I know there are some casinos, some of them by Native American tribal lands. Some of them, I think, the Hard Rock Cafe. I've never been to a casino in Florida. The only casinos I've been to are in Atlantic City, in New Jersey. I don't gamble anymore. I've lost money gambling. I was never a big gambler. My biggest gambling was with stocks, but I gambled on a crap table and stuff. If I had to, how much did I lose in Atlantic City? Probably $20,000, something like that over the course of all my years there. How much did I lose in stocks? Way more than that. So, it's give and take. Sarah, just got to get my love life under control. You're a wise man, Sam, rolling solo. Well, I understand, Sarah. I love you. That's all I want to say. I just want to say I love you. I don't want to give you advice. I don't feel that. Sometimes, as I mature, I try to figure out, should I be giving advice or should I just say I love you? And what I'm learning as I mature sometimes, just say, I love you. I love you. Okay? It's going to be all right. Jacob, smaller life equals better life. For me, yes. I'm off, and I'm doing some housework. That's all right. Keep doing you. Apathy. I think the movie Her is how the future of romantic relationships will be. I hope I'm still alive for that. Will play out because of how draining they can be. Well, I agree with that. I want basic universal income, basic health care, and a robot wife. But I don't want the maintenance. I want the government to maintain my robot wife, and I want to live free. Good job. Woohoo! Michigan is getting depressing very, very fast now with the snow and weather. I can understand that. I need a beach San Diego with Starbucks, that's for sure. Well, right now I'm using Starbucks' free Wi-Fi, even though I did purchase coffee and a water. Now, Starbucks is a great company, one of the first companies to institute healthcare for their employees at the part-time level. Certainly they've had their problems, but overall I think they've addressed them well. And I think Starbucks is a staple in society in many aspects as far as what it has to offer. I love Starbucks. Connor, amen. Praise the Lord. God bless you. And thank you. And Stream, God bless. I love you too, Connor. Lizard, emoji to you. Peppy Pig. Looking good, Sam. You too. The sun giving you good vitamin D. Yes. And your skin glowing. Thank you. It's glowing sun here in Michigan, unfortunately. Oh, it's gloomy in Michigan. I'm sorry. I can understand that. You got two people from Michigan. Jacob, may I ask how you lost weight? Yes. Cook home more, eat out less. Switch from white rice to brown rice, regular pasta to whole grain pasta, switch to whole grains, white bread to whole grain bread. Then eliminate or limit meat and dairy. Don't eat out, switch to whole grains, and eliminate meat and dairy, or at least either eliminate meat and dairy or limit it. Plant-based diet and walk every hour. That's what I do. Good job. T-Dot. Hey, T-Dot. It's life. If life's a beach, then why am I on it? I love the ocean. Me and you love the same thing. Thank you for coming back. Thank you for hanging in there with me. Love and respect. Thank you very much. I love you, T-Dot. Thank you for your encouragement. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Arab Mabo. Excuse me. This lifestyle gives us freedom to live our lives. There is more in life than just work, work, work. Yes, I mean, it's a dynamic. Look, I work just as much now as I did when I had a house. So, well, there was a season when I had my house, I worked a full-time job and I worked side jobs on the weekends to try to stay ahead. But I still work at least 40 hours a week. You know, I still work a full-time job. So, but I don't have to. I mean, I could do other things, but I mean, I've worked so hard to get to a certain point. I don't want to just give up on my career. I mean, and I work with good people right now. I'm blessed. I don't want to, and I'm able to work remotely. I mean, I've worked my whole career to get to this point. That's why I don't want to like give it away. I mean, I want to ride this thing out and make it work, because this is where I sacrificed and I worked this to get to this point. So for me, everyone's different. Like, you know, but I do think about that. Look, in a capitalist society, you're going to spend more time at work than you are with your family or doing things you love. That's the reality. They'll often say that in a company meeting, that, look, we have to get along because you will spend more time with your coworkers than you do your family. That's the reality of capitalism. Never forget that. Al. Hey, Sam. Hello to you. I just want life to do something they do with old image pixels. Negative to positive, so it's hard to realize what's now and remains with the same. I prefer the image to be burnt. Okay, I don't know if I fully understand that, so I don't want to try to answer that in a certain way without... Okay, thank you. Jacob. Gosh darn it. That's perfect advice on love. Well, hey, if you can marry a robot wife or a robot husband, you're going to do all right in this world. Good job. Evan, have you made it back to Florida? Yes. Thank you. Good to see you. Yvonne, sorry. Air Mob. You can still enjoy some fruits of relationship without being in a relationship. No, it doesn't happen like that. Didn't you watch the episode of Seinfeld where George told Seinfeld, Jerry, that you can't be friends and lovers? It doesn't happen. Jerry came up with certain rules with Elaine, and they try to abide by those rules, but what happened was human nature. You think you can get 0.25% or 0.1% on an investment every day, but what will happen is human nature. Okay, there will be an overreach somewhere on the journey in the relationship or in the investment, and disaster. That's my experience and human history on average. Jaquan. Bought my van last week. Congratulations. Good to see you, man. Yvonne. Hey, Sam. What do you think of chicken and seafood? I don't eat chicken, even though I love fried chicken back in the day, even boiled chicken, but I don't eat chicken anymore. I definitely don't eat red meat. Once in a while, I do have shrimp and salmon. I enjoy that. 10% of the time. Jaquan. Hope you have a great night. Thank you. And then she gave me the sunglass and, I'm not sunglass, but the sun and palm tree. Thank you. Jacob, how do you cook while living in your car? I don't cook. I eat plant-based diet. I go to Publix or a supermarket. I get a salad, beans, tofu, put it in a little container, eat it with some skinny popcorn. And that's my dinner every night. Jacob, I just answered that. All right, time is running out. I'm headed off to my next journey. I want you to have a peaceful night. Peace be to your mind. And remember, in life, it's going to be all right. And even if it isn't, the world's going to keep spinning. Peace and love.